Israel PM warns Unilever of severe consequences from Ben & Jerry's decision.
Here's a summary of the article.
Jerusalem, July 20. Israel warned consumer goods giant Unilever plc on Tuesday of severe consequences from a decision by subsidiary Ben & Jerry's to stop selling ice cream in Israeli-occupied territories, and urged U.S. states to invoke anti-boycott laws. The Ben & Jerry's announcement on Monday followed pro-Palestinian pressure on the South Burlington, Vermont-based company over its business in Israel and Jewish settlements in the West Bank, handled through a licensee partner since 1987. Ben & Jerry's said it would not renew the license when it expires at the end of next year. Most world powers deem Israel's settlements illegal. From Israel's standpoint, this action has severe consequences, legal and otherwise, and it will move aggressively against any boycott measure targeting civilians, Bennett told Jope, according to the statement from his office. Gilad Erdan, Israel's ambassador to Washington, said he had raised the Ben & Jerry's decision in a letter sent to 35 U.S. governors whose states legislated against boycotting Israel. Palestinians welcomed the Ben & Jerry's announcement. Israel deems all of Jerusalem its capital, a status not recognized internationally.
This post received a score of 7,800, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Yesterday the PM said it was a useless boycott doomed to fail. Okay, so then what are you making a fuss about?
I can't believe that literally something like Ben & Jerry's ice cream makes a nation so insecure.
A recent BBC Radio 4 podcast suggested that Israel throughout the peace negotiations have moved slowly into occupied areas. Although the international community condemned them, nothing happens and Israel continues as before with not only impunity but also successfully increasing their wealth. Essentially the West continue to turn a blind eye. Now, ice cream ain't much, but finally companies and nations are beginning to recognize that Israel is in no way going to give up anything. The tide is finally turning, thankfully.
Israel typically expands its illegally occupied territories during the peace negotiations. There's a reason why independent parties overseeing the negotiations in recent years tend to lay most of the blame on Israel for them failing. Gotta love how Israel got to perpetuate this status quo whereby it gets to benefit from being both the victim and bully. Thankfully more companies and individuals are starting to do something about it.
And if you criticize them, Israel, it's anti-Semitism. And if you quote a Jewish individual criticizing Israel, they're a self-hating Jew and you're an idiot for not knowing better. And nothing ever gets done.
Greater than and urged U.S. states to invoke anti-boycott laws. Mom, Unilever is bullying me.
Are there anti-boycott laws in the U.S.? Didn't we have a tea party about this in Boston?
Yes. Multiple U.S. states have anti-boycott laws in relation to Israel. Some are binding, some are not.
How does that even work? Usually if you have boycotted or publicly advocated a boycott of an Israeli product, you can be barred from working for the state or receiving state funds. There was some case where this was even used to deny hurricane relief funds, and of course it has been used to fire teachers. I don't know how this would affect a company like Unilever though. Maybe they'd lose government contracts in those states.
Which brings up the next question, why haven't those laws been struck down? It's literally a First Amendment infringement. A government entity is punishing you for your speech.
Oh, you're gonna hate. Longshoremen v. Allied. The Longshoremen's Union refused to handle cargo from Russia as protest over Russia's invasion of Afghanistan. The boycott was ruled to be illegal. The ruling was unanimous. The details of the case are fairly different from this situation, but the point is that there are lots of exceptions to free speech under U.S. constitutional law.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.